You guys see the Nick Cage 60 Minutes interview? It's pretty interesting. He mentions how he took a lot of bad roles, but he always gave 100%, which you watch a lot of his movies, whether you like it or not, can't say he's not telling the truth. So it's a story about current times, Dracula and Renfield's relationship. Renfield feels like he's in an abusive relationship. It's really cool. They show the old Dracula scenes, but they superimpose Nick Cage and Renfield into him and reenact some of the scenes. So that's really cool. And the story pretty much is Renfield is going to a support group. He tries to feed Dracula bad people that he finds people being abused in the support group, and he takes their abusive boyfriends or whatever they are to him, and he brings them to Dracula, and that's who Dracula feeds on. Dracula, in this day and age, is not being as careful as he was before, so it's making Renfield's life very difficult. They have a very strained relationship, but Nick Cage's Dracula is amazing. Every time he's on scene, you're either laughing, you're just loving every minute. He's so good as Dracula. He's a perfect role for him. It's really good. I have to watch a movie where he thinks he's a vampire. I haven't seen that in a long time, so I have to watch that. Which kind of goes along with, isn't there like conspiracy theory where he's like some dude from the Civil War or something because he looks just like him, that he's a vampire because he doesn't really age? Anyway, so the parts about Renfield and Dracula's relationship I think are great. I have a lot of fun with those moments. The problem is this feels like two different movies. There's another story of Awkwafina, and she's a cop, and her and her sister are the only two not crooked cops. Her dad was killed. There's a whole story with that. And they kind of Awkwafina accidentally crosses paths with Renfield, and they have some sort of friendship, romance thing or whatever. Renfield's dealt with these mob people. The mob's kind of run by this woman and her son. The son Lobo is played by Ben Schwartz, who voiced Sonic, so Sonic's the bad guy essentially. I just watched the episode today with him on Game Grumps, so it's really weird hearing him doing that and being Lobo. He did fine as a villain. He's good at improv. He does a lot of script writing, so good for him. I think the Awkwafina story with her dad dying and the mob, it feels like another movie, and they kind of mash them together. The best parts of this movie are Renfield and Dracula. I wish they did more of that. You do see a good amount of Dracula. I wasn't sure that you would, and sometimes it's pretty funny because he gets pretty messed up because vampire hunters, he's getting attacked by, all the Belmonts and what have you, throughout time. So Renfield often has to nurse him back to health, bring him victims so he gets more power. There's some pretty funny lines, like, they lost all their money because of a number of things through the years, and they're kind of like hiding out in this like abandoned hotel or hospital. So it's just kind of an interesting take on all of it. But Dracula's super powerful, and Renfield can harness some of his power by eating bugs. He takes life force and gets some of his power. This movie's super gory. There's ridiculous kills. It's funny that Awkwafina is just fine with Renfield because she sees him literally like rip a dude's arm off, and she's like, oh, that was pretty cool. You're from the military, right? The idea of Renfield and Dracula's relationship in this group keeps crossing paths with this mob story, with Awkwafina's story. It all comes to a head. It's a big conclusion, big fight with Dracula and everyone else. I think overall, it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it's great. It feels like two different movies, and I think one's a better movie and one's a movie that could have worked on its own in another way, just not in this movie. So you take that for what it is. We're here for Nick Cage. Watch it for Nick Cage. Have a good time with seeing him as Dracula. He loved it. He had so much fun with it. It's not like this is Willy's Wonderland where he's just not talking and somehow getting paid to just smash animatronics. So I sat through that movie. I'd say this is a better movie than that, though Willy's Wonderland's a good laugh.